Welcome back, everybody. And for this next segment, we are going to be talking about America, the Motion Picture, which is an Amazon Prime animated spoof comedy with
Netflix.
a
Netflix.
Netflix. Why did I think it was Amazon Prime?
Oh.
It's Netflix.
What did we watch this weekend? It was Amazon Prime that I couldn't
Tomorrow
watch.
War. Tomorrow War was Amazon Prime.
Oh, I got these things switched. All right. Anyway, that doesn't really matter. Netflix. We are talking the spoof comedy animated America, the Motion Picture, which has a pretty damn all-star cast, which is basically a not accurate movie about the Revolutionary War.
Depends who you ask.
Depends who you ask. That's right. Maybe they'll be teaching this in Louisiana or Texas.
That's
over
right.
the next
This is the critical race theory they want to teach.
This is
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
You've heard of this. You've seen this, right? You know what that is.
It is unavoidable. It is your destiny.
Is this not why you are here?
Do or do not. There is no try.
Knock that shit off.
So we've got voice actors like Channing Tatum, Jason Mantezuka, Olivia Munn, Will Forte, Killer Mike, Simon Pegg, Andy Samberg. Like this is a pretty wild cast for this thing. So this is directed by Matt Thompson. Matt Thompson is an executive producer of Mythic Quest and Archer, two pretty good shows, two comedy shows. The writer is Dave Callahan. You may know his writings from The Expendables, Zombieland, Mortal Kombat, Wonder Woman 84, and Shang-Chi coming.
not a great look.
No, not a huge great list. So I think it's pretty hit and miss because Zombieland's good. George Washington with his arm chainsaws, fighting for the freedom of America after his best friend Abraham Lincoln is murdered by what's his name?
Well,
Sorry.
it starts at the signing of the Declaration of Independence, but in this version, they all get murdered by Benedict Arnold.
Benedict Arnold. That's the word that's
Right.
the name I was looking for. Benedict Arnold has them all murdered because he is working for King George and rips up the Constitution and then kills Abraham Lincoln, and then it for some reason leaves George Washington alive to get a ragtag group of history together.
George and Abe weren't at the signing of the Declaration because they had theater tickets. So they weren't at the theater that night. So Benedict caught up with them later and took care of Abe. And then George is on his revenge plot now.
Oh, by the way, he's a werewolf. Benedict Arnold.
Benedict Arnold's a werewolf. Yeah.
So if you really want to know how wild this gets, that's basically
well, just think of the fact that Abe and George are hanging out in the same timeline at the same time, right? and Thomas Edison is there, played by Olivia Munn.
So the funny thing here is they really don't give a crap about the references. They make references to everything from Vietnam to coffees to television to whatever.
There was Paul Revere was doing a whole Fast and Furious riding scene through there.
Yeah,
the whole drag race thing.
The drag race, but on horses.
Right.
But they all had neon lights and dancing girls at their horse drag race.
Yeah, they even had red coats in a foot-pedaled helicopter chasing them.
The little Thanos copter going on.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm not even sure how to approach this thing. We'll just say for the plot wise that this has nothing to do with actual American Revolution. George Washington collects a ragtag group of people in order to kill King George and make America free. Like that's
Right.
it.
King George, who is more like Emperor Palpatine in this version, by the way.
Literally with the
Including
floating
plans for a
chair.
Death Star. Right.
So I guess I will ask people, what did you think of this as a spoof? We don't get a lot of spoof comedies much anymore. I think animation seems to be the location we're getting this spoof comedy style of these days. Like we're not getting Airplane and we're not getting those kind of things. So now we're getting Lego Batman and we're getting this American Motion Picture and Archer and those kind of things are all kind of spoof comedies. What did you guys think of this as a spoof comedy? Was it funny? Did you find yourself continually laughing? Was it overdone? What did you think of it, Keith?
I thought it was pretty funny, and I definitely I thought it was intelligent humor. I thought the whole concept was funny, and I like how they executed it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, I definitely got the humor. I don't think that it was forced or corny. It was definitely like I got what they were doing immediately.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, all the jokes felt timely, but not over. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you, Keith. Yeah, I laughed pretty much throughout the whole thing.
The
Like,
whole thing.
yeah, even it. So this kind of reminded me of the old airplane spoof movie. You know, those kind of movies, but in animation form. You know, where you take a topic like scary movie, but you're pulling in all these references and all this weird humor. So I got that kind of feel from it. So that's why I enjoyed it as well. Um, yeah, what can I say? Like, I thought the cast did a great job. The jokes were on point, and even though it's a very skewed version of, like, obviously you're not gonna watch this as a historical document, right? I should hope not, anyway. But
Yeah, first I think that's what I was worried about when I first saw it. Was I was like,
mhm.
what vision of this of America is this? Is someone really taking the piss out of this kind of over like everybody's a 250-pound linebacker style American history
Well,
guy?
except
Or
for Martha Washington. Damn.
Yeah, Martha
yes.
Washington was baddie.
But like the fact that they gender bent Edison into an
Hmm.
Asian woman who was
Right.
all about science and
She's the great line was when they were asking her who she was. She's like, "I'm an immigrant like you." And
Like
he's like,
you.
What? Sorry, no."
what character was it that they made him the the frat bro and he was just the voice of the great American frat
That was
bros
Sam
and that type of
Adams.
thing?
Sam
Yeah,
Adams.
Sam
Adams.
Adams. Sam
Yeah.
Adams.
Hmm.
Douchebag extraordinaire.
Him and Geronimo were going at it the whole time too. Geronimo was
Oh,
great.
Geronimo had some of the best no shit lines
Yeah.
in the thing, but Sam Adams was a great character to be the sounding board for all
Yeah.
of those jokes.
Hmm.
And
Exactly.
the fact that Jason Matazukis was the voice of Sam Adams really, I was surprised when I just read that.
Yeah.
That is not who I expected to be the frat bro. I would have expected Channing Tatum, but okay, he also fits the George Washington character. But
Yeah. So the ending for me was great too because they actually didn't just leave it as, silly ending. They kind of made you think a little bit at the end, right? When they were like, "Oh, and then everybody's going to be free, right? And women are going to have equality, right?" And then
yeah,
they cut to,
I think that's probably the most interesting thing that we can touch on here is what did you guys
Mm.
think of? Because I was worried as it was coming to the end, they were winning the war, they and they were all of America were coming together, even people who just didn't exist at that time. I mean, just like what would consider a group of you would see in a modern American commercial came together to win the war against the British, and then everybody was celebrating and happy. And I was like, "Uh oh, how are they going to this?
Right.
How is, are they going to do a big kumbaya moment? But they did manage to throw in a last comedy, but pointed comedy
Exactly. Yeah.
finish. Did
Yeah.
you think of any, like, when you saw the ending, did that hit you in any specific way?
I am glad that it didn't end the way that I thought that it was about to end.
Mm-hmm.
If that kind of like resonates. But
Yeah,
like
no, I absolutely agree with that.
I thought there was about to be some more happy-go-lucky ending. Like I'm glad that it took the turn that it took, and yeah. So that would be my biggest, like that's the biggest feeling I had on that whole part of it.
Yeah.
Like,
They didn't go we're all free now and everybody's equal and huzzah, we're the best.
American exceptionalism.
Right.
But like just how the rest of the movie was, the ending was definitely it was. I'm glad they went that way, but it also wasn't a surprise.
Right.
Yeah.
It was a
All
very
right, so
aware movie.
yeah, I think that's the best way to put it, is aware. Definitely aware of what it is, where it is, and what it's talking
Yeah.
about. And that's hard to pull off. That really is not easy. All right, why don't we
Yeah,
grade this sucker?
You know what though? I'm really surprised
Oh.
by this movie because I hadn't heard much about it
At
until
all.
It hasn't really
until
hit.
until like 2 weeks before it was released. And I was like, "What? Where did this come from?" But
I heard about it
I
from you,
remember
from
seeing
us, you guys.
yeah,
I remember seeing the trailer like a couple months ago, but that was about it. Like,
yeah,
it
it could
has
be. Yeah,
not
and then I
made
just
a
forgot about it.
splash.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and Netflix doesn't seem to be pushing it by any means. I don't
Yeah,
know. For the cast that's in it, I would have expected a little
more
bit
marketing, more promotion. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Should we do grades?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do grades. Keith, what did you think of America, the Motion Picture?
I'm giving it a full A.
Ooh,
Nice.
big number.
Yeah. Clean.
That's not a number. That's a letter.
Yeah.
But okay.
We forgive you.
Hey, now you know how well I did in school. All right, Mike.
Yeah, for me, A minus.
All right.
Definitely up there. Like, definitely rewatchable.
cleaned
Too.
up.
Like, I actually watched it twice because I
Mhm.
wanted somebody else to watch it, check it out. So we watched it together again. And
Yeah, I'd like to watch it in a crowd of just like people having fun with that. I think it would
Yeah.
really, I think it
Clean
would
A.
really be a blast there. I'm gonna give it a B plus, but I think I could be talked into an A minus. But I'm gonna start with a B plus. I did enjoy myself watching it, and I think the end being so self-aware, I was like, where are we going? Where are we going? Where are we going? And they corrected, and it was fun. Actually, I like that the baseball killing blow was probably my favorite part of the whole thing.
Hmm.
That was a lot of fun, the way they finished off. All right. Oh,
Cool.
and Sam Adams taking the soccer ball and wrapping the tongue around it and turning it into a football.
Yes.
Little things. It's the little
It's the
things.
little
Yeah.
things. It's the little things.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks